Right then, I'm now here for my most of the time versus Jermaine Franklin full card predictions and breakdowns. The magnificent seven fights to predict here. Um, Interesting card. I'd say quite a few 50-50 fights we've got, to be honest. Hard ones to predict. We're starting off with Nathan Heaney versus Jerome Warburton. And in my opinion, at first I was thinking this could be a bit difficult to predict. But then I'm thinking, I think Nathan Heaney's got this in the bag, and I think he'll win. Again, I was thinking this might be difficult to predict because Warburton's a southpaw, likes to move pretty well, and I think boxes well. But I think has decent pressure. But I think a he can control centre ring, but I think the thing is with Jerome Warburton, as he might look to come forward here and there, I just don't think he's got the power to phase Nathan Heaney. I think that's the big thing. He's got two knockouts out of his, I think, what, 14 or 16 wins, something like that. And yeah, I don't think he's got the power to phase Nathan Heaney, in my opinion. And I think it might take Heaney a bit of time to figure him out as a southpaw, but I think at times it's like you don't really want to box with Nathan Heaney. I think ways you beat Nathan Heaney is just full on pressure, landing big shots, bringing him into that dogfight. I don't think you want to box with Heaney, and I feel like Warburton, he won't have the power to get him out of there if he is pressuring him, but he is also going to look to box as well. And I don't think he wants to box with Heaney. Look at what happened with Denzel Bentley. Denzel Bentley was meant to be levels above Heaney, but he boxed with him and got outboxed, got beaten to the punch. When Brad Pauls went in there with him, brought him into a dogfight, made things really difficult for him. That's how you beat Heaney. I don't think Warburton's got the style to do that. I was thinking there could be something there, but I think he probably will box with him, and I don't think he'll beat him. So anyway, next up then. So I'm going with Heaney decision. Nathan Heaney will win a unanimous decision. Anyway, so then we go to Liam Davis versus Francesco Grandelli. I think Liam Davis should win this fight, if I'm being real. He just wants to really get him right back into the flow of things, really. He has been overly active since his loss to Shabazz Masood. I think, it's a fight back on the main stage again on a big event. I think it's one Liam Davis should win. I feel like Grant Denny might look to slug it out a bit with him, but Liam Davis is going to be too powerful. He's going to massively overwhelm Francesco Grandelli. And yeah, I think this is one of the easy ones to pick. Liam Davis is going to win. It's been set up for him to win. Yeah, I do want to see him burst back onto the scene because he is explosive. He is good. You are guaranteed a good fight with him when he is on his game. So I think Liam Davis should win this fight pretty simply overall. It's one that's been set up for him to win, and rightly so. He needs to fully get that right on track. And right now, I feel like it's a case of getting his confidence back up because, let's be honest, it wasn't good for him at all against Shabazz Masood. Let's be real. He lost that fight by quite a wide margin. Shabazz Masood was outpointing throughout. Davis, in my opinion, probably took like 3 rounds at most in that fight. Yeah, he needs to be gaining his confidence back, and that's what they're on the road to doing with him. So, yeah, I have no problem with the fight. Grandelli's no mug either. He's, been in there with Lorente. He's been in there with Collins. Lost to both of them on decision. I think Davis will be able to get Grandelli out of there, though. He's a bigger puncher than them both. I think Davis will stop him. I'm going to say mid-rounds. Okay, then. Then we go to, now this, in my opinion, is a difficult one. Michael Gomez Jr. versus Jordan Flynn. Yeah, this is a difficult one to predict, in my opinion. And I still haven't fully made my mind up on it. I think Gomez, he's the longer guy. Flynn's going to look to get in there. But again, Gomez likes to fight up close as well. You think about it. both fights that they've had, the big fights they've had, so Jordan Flynn, Vong, Gomez, Bellotti, they both lost and they got bad, they got stopped. That's what happened. They're meant to, I think, be more competitive than they were in both fights. They were big fights, the Flynn Vong fight, people saw that as 50-50. Gomez versus Bellotti, I think most knew Bellotti would win, but expected a bit more from Gomez Jr. I'm going to say that Gomez Jr. is the favorite. Yeah, I'd say Gomez Jr. will win. I think he's probably the cleaner out of the two. I think Flynn overcommits a lot. But then again, he could be the more active guy. I see it being a scrappy fight. I don't know. It's going the distance. Gomez, I reckon Gomez will land the bigger shots in a very scrappy and ugly fight. Gomez will be the more convincing, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon being able to time Flynn. It's a tough one, but no, I'm going to say Michael Gomez Jr. wins this fight. Ugly points decision. Okay, then we go to Alex Murphy versus Josh Holmes. I'm going with Alex Murphy to win. Yeah, he hasn't really. Yeah, thing with Alex Murphy, he hasn't really got any power, but he boxes well at range. Josh Holmes, he's going to have to get in there, have to get up close, going to have to rough up Murphy. Murphy's been beat before. Holmes is undefeated, 17-0. Alex Murphy, I believe, is 14-0 with no knockouts. But I believe he's a better boxer than Holmes. I believe he'll be able to box around him. I think he's the guy that Queensbury are trying to build something with. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a wild card kind of fight. Like, it's not one that I'd expect to be on a card like this. But yeah, I guess they're trying to build up Alex Murphy. I reckon he's going to win the fight. I reckon he'll outpoint Josh Holmes. Yeah, I reckon it'll be pretty convincing. I reckon Alex Murphy will win basically every single round. I reckon he'll be countering Holmes all night. And just beating him to the punch, really, using his footwork. Holmes has got decent footwork as well. I feel like he circles pretty well, gets in and out of there well. And I feel like that's what he's going to have to do here. He might need to be more aggressive, though. But we'll have to see. I reckon Alex Murphy's going to win this fight on points. Okay, then. Now it gets interesting. We're going into the three big fights here. Shaquille Thompson versus Brad Pauls. Now, again, this is one where I was thinking, yeah, Thompson might outpoint him. But now I'm thinking, I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to say Brad Pauls wins. I'm going to say Brad Pauls wins the fight. That's what I'm going to think. That's what I think. I think with Shaquille Thompson, very awkward with his movement, but I just saw something as he was finishing River Wilson bent. He was getting caught. Wilson bent came towards him, and he got caught flush here and there. Obviously, then he was able to counter. But with Brad Pauls, it's not going to be that simple. I think Brad Pauls could drag Shaquille Thompson into a fight that he hasn't seen. He hasn't fought someone like Brad Pauls, in my opinion. He's not fought someone like him. But Brad Pauls, he lost to Bentley. I think got a bit over eager at times, but I think might fix things up here. Right now you'd have to say Bentley's better than Thompson. He's more experience. He's shown at a higher level, definitely. But it's interesting. Thompson, again, it's one where Thompson's going to start well. Brad Pauls always takes a bit of time. But he is a big puncher. He's a bigger puncher than what people think he is, Brad Pauls. You hear his bloody shot through the screen. He hits hard. He hits bloody hard. Shaquille Thompson does as well. And definitely he's the smarter guy, definitely the better boxer, definitely the cleaner boxer than Brad Pauls. I think Brad Pauls is going to show him work here. I think Brad Pauls, I reckon I reckon Brad Paul's nicks a decision. That's what I'm gonna say. I reckon the more volume's gonna come from Brad Pauls, especially as we go. I reckon Brad Pauls is really gonna put on a bit of a body onslaught on Thompson, which I think the judges might like. And yeah, I think Thompson's going to find it difficult to keep him off with the jab. I think Brad Pauls is really going to give him work. He's calculated. He's very calculated, Brad Pauls, with what he does. He's got good timing. I reckon he wins. I do think he wins. It's interesting. Thompson's jab could cause issues, but then again, I think Brad Pauls can take it away from him. I'm going to say Brad Pauls wins this fight. It's a gamble. He's the underdog. But I think he's a worthy dog to stick your money on, though. I think Brad Pauls wins. Okay, then. Next up, we have got Willie Hutchinson versus Ezra Taylor. This is another interesting fight. Another interesting fight. I'm going to say... I don't know what the odds are for this. I'm going to say... Oh my, it's such a difficult fight to predict. I'm going to say... I don't know. It's a really difficult one to say. You've got Hutchinson, very awkward, very good timing, able to catch you coming in. Ezra Taylor as well. I think similar styles in ways. I think it's one that is difficult to break down. They're similar styles. I think they both got good timing. I think that, they're both going to box. They both got good power as well. They both got good timing. I think it's a very intriguing fight. I'm really looking forward to this. These three main fights I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to say... Oh, I really don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. I'm going to edge it to Ezra Taylor on points. It could even be like a robbery kind of thing here. Hutchinson might just do enough, but they give it to Ezra Taylor. I don't know. I reckon Ezra Taylor might nick on points. But again, Hutchinson's operated at the way higher level. I reckon it's one that they just give to Ezra Taylor, though. Yeah. I reckon it's one that Ezra Taylor takes. It could be close. Hutchinson might be outpointing him here and getting a better read of him. But then I reckon Taylor might look more convincing. Taylor might be the one coming forward, which I reckon Taylor will be the one on the front foot. That might be how they give the decision to him. I can't see a scenario where either guy wins this fight convincingly. Like, it's going to go right down to the wire. But I reckon it's one where most will probably have Hutchinson win it, but they'll give to Ezra Taylor. That's what I'm going to say. I see Ezra Taylor's hand being raised at the end of the fight. That's the image I'm getting in my head. Ezra Taylor getting his hand raised at the end of the fight. Okay, it's so difficult to predict. Anyway, then we got Moses Itauma versus Jermaine Franklin. And in my opinion, the way I'm looking at this fight is Moses Itauma is the obvious winner. I think Moses Itauma is going to stop Jermaine Franklin. But I reckon he'll stop him in the mid-rounds. I reckon 5 or 6, Itauma will get him out of there. But what I'm looking at here is, can Jermaine Franklin show us something? Can he expose something in the game of Moses Itauma? That's how I'm looking at this fight. I'm not looking at ways of, this is how Jermaine Franklin wins. But I do think he can show us something. I don't know what will show us, but I think he can show us something. The things I'm looking at are that he could show in this fight. I reckon there's a chance that we get to see Moses Itauma in exchanges. Let's see how he handles it. Itauma will probably be the quicker guy, but Franklin could slug things out in exchanges. I reckon Itauma will take a big shot. I reckon he'll take it just fine. But I reckon, his shin will be kind of tested. Not fully tested, but I reckon Franklin will land something of note at a point in this fight before he gets stopped. And I reckon it could be a frustrating first few rounds for Moses Itauma, in my opinion. I reckon he will make Moses work. He's durable. He's good. He is quicker on the inside than what we think, though, actually, Franklin. Itauma's quicker, though, of course. But I reckon he can frustrate Itauma. I reckon he might look to lean on him a bit. I reckon he will look to come in and try and push him back. I reckon Franklin does frustrate Itauma a bit, but Itauma will eventually get his way with him. He will eventually let his hands go, and he will eventually get to him mixing his shots up. I think Itauma does drop him, and I think then Franklin gets up, but Itauma stops him on his feet in the 5th or 6th round. But I think Franklin will make him work, and I feel like it will frustrate him early, but eventually Itauma is going to be able to get his way with him in the middle rounds. So yeah, that's my prediction for the Magnificent Seven card. Some very difficult fights to predict, but I feel like we're in for a very fun card on Saturday night.